Hi, I'm Rhea.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we are your hosts of the Travel Party of Five podcast, where we share how we travel as a family of five around the world.
We will also share how we use points and miles to travel as affordably as possible and sometimes even completely free.
So if you're wanting to travel more with your family, but you're not sure how, we'd love for you to listen in.
So welcome to our podcast, where we hope you learn a thing or two to get you closer to your next trip. Hey guys, welcome back to Travel Party of Five podcast. Today is our sixth episode. We will be talking about how 2023 was a year we became airport lounge people. So this episode, we're going to talk about how to become airport lounge people for beginners.
Yeah, basically like a beginner's guide to if you want airport lounge access, like how can you get that without just paying out of pocket for it?
Yeah. So, I mean, before I knew about airport lounges, I really didn't know about airport lounges.
Did you know that like they were a thing, or you were?
I walked by them before and not really realizing. I just really thought it was a place where people can go and get some shut-eye for a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's really what I thought it was.
But like it never occurred to you to like try to go in there?
Nope, never occurred to me to go in there. Never occurred to me that there was other things besides like
sleeping.
Yeah.
I just always thought airport lounges were for like fancy people, like rich people, you know? And I mean, I guess like you do get lounge, like when you buy a business class ticket, you do get lounge access with that. But we have never flown business class or first class yet.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So you do get that. And maybe that's why I always thought it was like, it was for the haves and instead of the have-nots, as they sometimes say. I don't know.
I mean, have you ever been in a lounge before?
Before this year? No, never, not one time. And yeah, I just had this like, limiting belief, I guess I'll call it, that it was for other people. Okay. But there are a few different types of airport lounges, like brands, I guess, if you will. And so we're going to talk about the three main ones and then one more that's trying to become a main one, but really isn't yet because there's only a few of them in the world. So the first type of lounge is called Priority Pass. And so there are over 1,300 Priority Pass lounges across the world. And the impression that I have about these lounges, and I've been in two of them this year, plus just from reading a lot of reviews about these types of lounges from Facebook groups and forums and that sort of thing, is that they're kind of like the lowest tier of lounges, at least in the United States. I have heard that the lounges abroad are fantastic, but we have never visited any of them yet.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did we go into one of those lowest tier lounges?
Yeah, the Las Vegas one is a Priority Pass lounge that we went to.
Oh, I mean, it was still...
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't...
Okay.
But...
The food was a little...
I mean, yeah, it was mid. Yeah. But when you compare that to like a Capital One lounge, like it's different, right? Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to call it's the like a lower tier quality of lounge, but it's still a lounge where things are free.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and it gets you away from the hustle and bustle of the terminal, you know?
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. So we'll talk about our two Priority Pass lounge experiences this year. Well, you've had one and I've had two. But let me first explain how you get access. So you can get Priority Pass lounge access from the following credit cards. And let me add, this is not an exhaustive list. Like there are other cards that offer it, but these are the main ones that I think most people
are achievable.
Yes. Yeah. Because some of them are very specific. Like, I don't know, American Airlines Aviator X124. Like, I don't know. Anyways. Okay. So the American Express Platinum, both the personal and the business card, provide priority pass lounge access. The Capital One Venture X also provides you this access. And then the Chase Sapphire Reserve, not the preferred, only the reserve. That's the one with the higher annual fee. And all three of these cards have varying annual fees. The Amex has the highest, followed by the Chase Sapphire, and then the Capital One Venture X is the lowest at $395 for the year. But again, remember, those cards have other benefits that offset most, if not all or more, of those fees. There's also, so there's Priority Pass and there's Priority Pass Select. So the access that we have is through my Chase Sapphire Reserve, and it is Priority Pass Select, and that includes some participating restaurants. And so basically, if a restaurant is participating in the Priority Pass, you can use your membership to get like around, I think it's around a $28 credit per person. And so you can like get a meal, you know, and
like, how do you know that they are participating? Is
it says it like when you walk up to the host stand. So it was a little bit of a bummer, but when my son and I went to New York City at the end of 2022, we flew in and out of JFK, and there was a restaurant that we ate at that accepted this credit, except I didn't have the membership set up yet. And so I couldn't use it. And so I still think about that. That was $56 I could have saved, you know? But yeah. So here, okay. So you like, let's say, okay, you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I'm just going to use that card because that's one that we have, and that's how we have gotten our access. Once you have the card, you have to then go into your Chase account, and you basically have to activate the membership and sign up for it. So it's not automatic. And I think that's what some people don't realize. And I didn't realize that because I did try to activate it before our trip, but it takes time because you have like they send you an actual card and it's a whole shebang. So basically you have to request to activate it and sign up and then wait to hear back that it's been approved. And that can take a couple of weeks. So just FYI, if you have a trip coming up, do it now so that you have it whenever that trip rolls around. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for the Capital One and the Amex Platinum. Like, I think you have to activate it and sign up in the whole shebang. So, okay. So yeah, let's talk about the first time we ever visited a lounge. So we flew to Vegas just for one day. We flew over in the morning and we flew back at night, and we went to try to do this like status match, and it was a whole thing. But we used our points to fly, so we didn't pay for the flight. We, part of this status match at one of the casino. First of all, let me add, we are not gamblers. Like, neither one of us gamble ever. We like our money.
Yeah, I mean, we got free play at the casino, and it took us a while to even figure out how to use it.
That's right.
At the slot machine.
That's right. It was like, what, $10 or $20 a person, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Not a lot, but.
And it literally took us probably 15 minutes just to figure out how to like work
the
slot machine. But we wasted our $20 or whatever it was, and we didn't win any money. So
I mean, it was gone in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but we one of the casinos that we matched to, we also got $100 food credit, so we had free lunch. And we also got the free, what was that Ferris wheel thing?
Yeah.
Free Ferris wheel something or other. Yeah. So we went on that for free. And then it was hot. We went in the summer. And so, I don't know, our flight back was, I think, at 7. And it actually got delayed. So I don't think we flew out until like 8 something.
Yeah, we left Phoenix at like what?
I think it was like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it was like a 12-hour little round trip. But we went to the airport at like 3 or 4 because we were just hot and exhausted. We had been running around Vegas all day to these different casinos doing this status match merry-go-round thing. And Las Vegas has a lounge. It's called the Club, and the airport, I mean. And so we went into this lounge. And so how it works, just so you know, is you scan your priority pass membership. You can either have a physical card or they have an app. That's what we used, was the app. There's like I think it's a QR code. They scan it, then they scan your boarding pass. And so you have to have a valid boarding pass for that day for an outgoing flight. So whether it's a layover with a connecting flight or your first leg, I don't think you can access most lounges upon arrival, to my knowledge. We've never tried. So it has to be an outgoing flight. And so they'll scan your membership and then they'll scan your boarding pass. And then the priority pass membership that we have allows me to bring in 2 guests. So Dwayne was my guest, obviously. And so we went into the lounge, and like, what did you think of the lounge?
I mean, I thought it was great. They had sitting areas for you to, rest. They had sitting areas for you to eat. There was free food. Again, the food wasn't, it was okay, but again, it was free, so you can't complain. They had like salad. You can order like little Cuban sandwiches.
Yeah, they had Cuban sandwiches.
Yeah.
I think they had like, oh, maybe those were the sliders. I was thinking
sliders.
Like chicken sliders or something.
Soda, drinks. They had a bar, which is also free.
Yep. I'm not a big drinker, but Dwayne likes a good glass of whiskey
or scotch. Might
So.
have one now.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was great. A lot of outlets to charge your whatever it is, iPad, phone, laptop.
Comfortable chairs.
Yep. Peace and quiet. They had some TVs in there to, I think when we went there was a UFC fight on or something they had on. I don't remember. There was some
I don't even remember a
event,
TV, so I don't know. I have no memory of a TV, so couldn't tell you.
But yeah, like I said, it gets you away from the hustle and bustle of the terminal, and
it was quiet. And like we had been running around all day, so just like sitting down in a comfortable chair, or they had like couches. Like one guy in our little room was sleeping. And it's like, it was so quiet. It was so nice. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done right now. You have like, there's all the little tables that are around have QR codes on it, and you just scan the QR code and you order whatever you want.
Yep.
And then they just bring it to you.
They bring it to you.
And so we did like 2 rounds of food. That ended up being our dinner. Again, free.
Free.
And I mean, we tipped.
Yeah, we left
the people.
Or when we left to tip.
Yeah. Lounges also have like private bathrooms.
I can't remember. Does this one have a shower?
I don't remember if they had
think
showers, but a lot of them do have showers. And in the app, it will tell you all the different amenities that they have. So if you're looking for a shower, you can go on the app and see if that's available. Yeah, I mean, they have like nursing rooms for moms. Like, I mean, it was.
I mean, the nursing room that was in Dulles. I mean, it was fancy.
Yeah, we'll talk about when we're going to do Capital One shortly. Okay, so the other lounge in the Priority Pass family that I have visited was the Club in Charlotte. And so this one I went to when I flew to the East Coast. My grandfather passed away over the summer, unfortunately. And I had booked when we got, the call that he was rapidly declining, I booked a last minute flight, and it ended up being a red eye, which I hate red eye flights. And I have made a personal vow to never take one again because I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But obviously this was extenuating circumstances and I needed to get there quickly. So I booked a red eye flight, left Phoenix at like 11 p.m. and landed in Charlotte at 5 a.m. And I purposely had planned, the lounge opened, I think, at 4 a.m.
That's early.
Yeah. Maybe it was 5 a.m., but either way, I was there. I think I landed at 5:15 and I was like at the lounge by like 5:30. And this experience was not as great as the first one. And I don't know if this was normal or not for this lounge. I don't know if maybe someone called out sick that day. I don't know if this is just normal for a lounge anytime at 5 a.m. That's the only time I've ever been in one. But when I checked in, and again, you're scanning your membership and you're scanning your boarding pass. And I had an ongoing flight because I flew Phoenix to Charlotte and then Charlotte to Wilmington. And so I had an outgoing flight, which made me eligible for this lounge. And I'm just thinking, like, I just want some coffee and some breakfast and a place to like sit where it's quiet while I wait for my next flight. So the girl checking us in, and there were people in front of me, people right behind me, and she was just saying the same thing over again. She was like, I'm the only one here. The only thing that's available is like muffins, fruit, and coffee. And I was like, okay, like, like whatever, that's fine. So I go in, and she was not wrong. The muffins were very stale muffins that had probably been sitting out since like 2 days before. And the fruit was just like, I don't know, apples and bananas or something like that. And then the coffee, which is like, that's what I was looking for, is a good coffee. And to their credit, they did have like an espresso machine. So I was able to get myself an espresso, but there was no cream, no sugar, no milk of any kind to go in this coffee. So it was literally just like espresso in a cup. And that's really not what I was looking for. And like, I got myself a coffee, I sit down, and I'm like this. And let me add, it is maybe 5:45 by now. And this lounge is very busy. Okay. Like, there are a lot of people in there. There are families, there are people, solo travelers like me, and everyone is going up to this coffee machine and then looking everywhere for the creamer, the sugar, like something. And it wasn't until about 6:30 that like a second employee arrived and started, like, she did set out cream. She set out like some other things. And by that time, it was time for me to go. I think my second flight left at like 7:15 or something. So I had to go to my gate. So I wasn't able to take advantage of the creamer, but they did have like a buffet area set up where I assume they would put breakfast foods or lunch foods or dinner foods. But it was just all empty. And so again, I don't know if that's normal or if they don't start putting out food until later in the day.
I would assume that's not normal. I mean,
the way that the girl who like greeted everyone was acting made me think like this was not normal, but I don't know.
Yeah, there probably was some call-offs or something.
Yeah. So that was a little bit disappointing. But again, we're talking about free things. So, I mean, this is first world problems. I know that. But that was my experience, my 5 a.m. lounge experience. Okay, so let's do...
And again, Ray is going to be talking most of this episode because she is the brains behind this operation.
Well... I mean, yes, but you're going to edit this episode, which I have no idea how to do. So, okay, let's talk about Capital One lounges because you have input on this because you were there and it was great. So Capital One lounges, the way that you get access is with your Capital One Venture X card. Personal or business, they both provide lounge access. I think there's also a Capital One Venture credit card. So not the Venture X, but the Venture. It's has a lower annual fee. And I think that for 2024, that card gives you 2 visits to a lounge at no cost. I think that is ending in 2025, though. So if you want the lounge access, I would recommend getting the Capital One Venture X. Again, personal or business both provide lounge access. Currently, they have open lounges in Dulles, Dallas, and Denver.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said that it only allows you 2 lounges?
The Capital One Venture card.
Oh.
There's the Venture and the Venture X.
Oh, I had no idea there was a limit.
Only for the Venture card.
Okay.
Which is not the one that we have. We have the Venture X. Yeah. So there is no limit for Venture X card holders as of now. And okay, so yes, Dulles, Dallas, Denver. I don't know why it's all D's. I don't know. And they have more coming. But the Dulles and the Denver one both just opened. So it literally just happened to coincide that we were in Dulles maybe 2 or 3 weeks after it opened. And then we flew from Dulles with a layover in Denver, and the Denver lounge had literally opened like 4 days before we were there, I think. Maybe a week. So it was brand new. And
it's pretty nice.
They're both incredibly nice.
Oh, yeah. Both of them.
The one in Dulles, if you have TSA pre-check, the entrance is literally like you walk out of the pre-check line and the entrance was directly in front of me. Dwayne doesn't have pre-check, so I don't exactly know how he found us, but I think he had to go up an elevator.
Yeah, go up elevator, escalator, and then I was there.
But if you ask someone, where is the Capital One Lounge, they can direct you. So, I mean, what did you think of it? Both of them.
I mean, they're great. If you have the chance to get lounge access, I suggest that.
What was your favorite part?
I mean, first of all, free food.
Yep.
Free drinks. And that includes alcohol.
Yep.
You know, that's by far the favorite. And then, you know, the second is just, like I said, the quiet, relaxing atmosphere that it provides instead of the busyness of the terminal.
You don't realize how loud an airport terminal is until you step out of it and like into a quiet room. And then it's almost, you're just like, like that's how my brain feels. The Capital One lounges also have a focus on like to-go snacks. So they have all their food put out. And it was good food.
Yeah, it was great food. They had salad, mac and cheese, some kind of sliders.
Yep.
I mean,
it was great.
Great.
So here's how we as a family of 5 got access, because again, the Capital One Venture X gives access for the card holder plus 2 guests. However, you can add authorized users currently at no charge. So for cards like the Chase Sapphire or the American Express, you can also add authorized users, but there's a cost. And so I predict that eventually Capital One will charge for adding authorized users, but for now they don't. So while they don't, we're taking full advantage. So I have added Dwayne as an authorized user. And so now he has his own card, and he can also bring in 2 guests, which is how we're able to bring in all the kids with us. I also added my sister as an authorized user because the biggest airport closest to her is Dulles. So when she flies out of Dulles, she can go in the lounge beforehand and, you know, have some food and a drink, whatever. And again, that's free. So like, why not? So when we flew back from Washington, D.C., we flew out of Dulles, like we mentioned. We went in, we had plenty of time to go in the lounge there for a good hour at least. And with kids, I mean, first of all, they have like a quiet area. They also have a family area. They have showers. They have, I mean, the one in Dallas, I think even has Peloton bikes, but the other 2 do not.
The one in Denver had like rooms you could rent out or reserve.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
quiet room?
Yeah,
Like
quiet
to
room.
sleep?
Yeah,
or?
I would assume someone would go in there to sleep, or like if they had a meeting, Zoom call or something. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah. All you had to do was reserve them if they were available.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And then so they have all the food set out and the drinks and all that. The one in Dulles, like when you walk in, they have this kind of packaged snack area where you can take snacks to go and water. So if you just have a few minutes, you can literally go in there, grab snacks and water, and walk right back out. So you don't have to like sneak it into your purse. Like they want you to take it.
Yeah, they encourage you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you leaving? You want to take some snacks with you?
Yeah.
You know I do.
They were like pushing it into our hands, like take this. And we were like, oh, okay. they also have, when you first walk in, a coffee barista bar, which I got an oat milk latte, which was delicious.
Yeah, I had a mocha with my whiskey at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was great.
Yeah, they have a full bar. The food was good. And we were actually there long enough that they transitioned from like breakfast to lunch while we were there. So that was cool because we got to try like all the breakfast stuff. And then we also got to try all the lunch stuff. And like my kids just think this is the greatest thing because it's all free. So I'm like, you can have whatever you want. I don't care. Go get it. And they were loving that. Lots of chargers so they can charge all their devices. We don't let them have iPads unless we are traveling. So the iPads are always a big hit. And yeah, I mean, just it was fantastic. And then we flew to Denver. We had a layover in Denver. And I think our layover was 2 or 3 hours. So we spent another like hour and a half in the Denver lounge. To get to that lounge, you do have to, I think we were in Terminal C and we had to go to Terminal A, and it is right by gate A34, if I remember correctly. And you have to like go up a level. It's like above the main airport, floor, I guess. And yeah, so we spent another probably 90 minutes in the Denver one, and very similar, to Dulles with the food and the drinks and everything, except in Dulles, I think they only had one liquor that wasn't free, right? And in Denver, there was more, you said?
Yeah, so in Dulles, yeah, I asked the bartender, I said, what's not free? And there was only a few things that weren't. And it was like the high-end whiskey, scotch, tequila. But the one in Denver, there was a lot more drinks that you had to pay for. I think I got their well whiskey was like Maker's Mark, which is, not bad.
That's good. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I think Capital One would for sure be my favorite lounge that we've visited so far. Let's talk about, the Capital One Venture X also gives you priority pass access. So if you just want one card that can do both, then that's the one I would go with. I actually think the Amex also does, but it has a higher annual fee. So, okay. Speaking of Amex has Centurion lounges. Okay. That is like the American Express lounge. That's what they're called. I'm going to be brief about this because we don't have any Amex cards yet, and so we've never been in one. However, I've heard they're very nice. I've also heard they can be a little crowded. I don't know. You can get access from the Platinum card from American Express, either the personal or the business. I think they also have a Centurion card you can get that's also through American Express. And then there are other cards, like I think there's a Delta Sky Miles Reserve card that gives you access, and maybe a couple others. I think kind of the same premise as all the other lounges. The food is free, the drinks are free, they have showers, bathrooms, the whole shebang. But with the Amex, you cannot bring in any guests. And so you would have to add an authorized user. And again, that costs money too. And so it hasn't been big on my radar because we have 3 kids, so we need 5 people to be able to get in. And so I don't know that makes a ton of sense for us.
I think it's weird that they don't include like your children.
Well, I've just heard a lot of reviews about the lounges being really crowded, the Centurion lounges, and like there being a wait list. And I think they're just trying to limit that. And unfortunately, that could also happen to Capital One, because I'm sure there's a lot of people like us that are, bringing their whole families in, and eventually they'll probably become overcrowded, but hasn't happened yet. So, Yeah. So I think that's it. And then so those are the three main types of lounges. So we've got Priority Pass, Capital One, and Amex Centurion lounges. And then the fourth one that I mentioned at the beginning is the Chase Sapphire Reserve Lounge. And currently there are only 2 of them open in the world. One is in Boston. The other one is in Hong Kong. However, they're opening one in Phoenix, which is our home airport. So that is exciting.
Wow, I didn't realize there was only 2.
Yeah, it's like a newer thing for Chase. I think Chase is like trying to get into the game like Amex. But I think these lounges were announced in 2021. And
why do you think Hong Kong?
I don't know. But I was in the Hong Kong airport in 2018. And I mean, I wasn't into travel hacking really. So.
But you are now.
It's a very nice airport though. It's really nice. Yeah, so Chase Sapphire Reserve, there's not a ton of information out about these lounges yet. As we know, Chase has the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and my understanding is that you only get access with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which again is the one with a higher annual fee. However, I read something yesterday when I was trying to look up about the Phoenix Lounge. I read something that you can also get access if you have a Priority Pass membership. And so I don't know if that's true. I'm kind of hoping once they open the Phoenix one that they will put out some more information about who can get access and how often. I think right now I could bring in 2 guests, I think. I don't know 100%. But that's what I think. And so when the Phoenix one does open, we're going to go. We're going to check it out on some flight. Yeah. And we will report back, but I couldn't even find like an opening date for it. I even went on the Phoenix Airport website to see if it was listed under the lounges, and it is not listed yet. So,
but I mean, we saw it being built.
We saw it. It's in Terminal 4. I know that. That's the Southwest Terminal, so that's good. Nothing is worse than going to an airport and wanting to go to a lounge, but it's like in a different terminal and there's no easy way to get there. That happened to me in Chicago. I wanted to go. There was like a lounge, but I couldn't get there. It was like a 45-minute train ride or something to this obscure terminal, and I was like, well, I can't do that. So I don't know. So yeah, there you have it. So we have Priority Pass, Capital One, Centurion, and coming soon, Chase Sapphire Reserve lounges. I hope this episode was helpful for you if you're thinking about wanting to check out an airport lounge. Like I said, I would go the Capital One Venture X route, I think. I don't know if that Priority Pass membership enables you to bring in 2 guests or not, but that's the route that I would go, I think, if I were just starting. And if not, then I would do the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I just want to thank you for all that info. I mean, I'm sure it's helpful.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think like airport lounges are not just for rich, fancy people. That's what I have learned.
And they're a must. I mean, especially with family, little kids.
It was, I would say that tell me if you agree with this or if you have a different opinion. I would say that when like our day flying from Dulles back to Phoenix was the least stressful travel day I have ever had with 3 kids.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, were there a few times we had to tell the kids to shush in the lounge? Yes. But I mean, they were.
It's a given.
Yeah. And I mean, they were happy just going up, getting what they wanted to try, coming back. They have all these different like fun little sodas, and I don't mean just like Coke and Dr. Pepper. I mean like rhubarb, strawberry soda, and so the kids got to try all those, and it's nice as a parent to not have to say no all the time. So yeah, definitely would recommend if you are traveling with kids. Especially if you have a baby, because the parents' room in some of those lounges were I mean, incredible.
Super nice. You know, you can get diapers. There was like bibs.
Yeah, sinks to like wash your breast pump parts
your
and
bottles if need be.
I think there was a refrigerator in there, like just
comfy chairs for you to do whatever it is you have to do in there.
Yep. Oh, and you know the one thing I forgot to mention is the food that they have out. So they have like to-go snacks at the entrance, but they also have food out and about around the lounge, and there are to-go boxes there as well. So they are encouraging you to like take the food to go. And I thought that was really fantastic. So, cool. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening. As always, we would appreciate a review. If you have 2 seconds to leave one, that really helps this podcast get found by more people so that we can help more people.
Yep. We appreciate you.
See you on the next one.
Alrighty.
Bye.